Hello, welcome. I'm Jody, and this is Jody Rose Studio, where I share creative practices and other wellness techniques for real life. I have a number of members of my community who are older, who are living with chronic illness, or who are in recovery from medical procedures. And so I share today's practice because it is a wonderful yoga movement sequence that supports improved mobility. And even if movement is difficult for you right now, this is something that you can do in bed, reclined on a chair, from a couch. You can also sit on the floor. Today I'll just be demonstrating from the chair. So let us begin. If you're seated in a chair, just find a nice upright position, ankles beneath the knees, knees lined up with the hips. Extend the spine long and move the shoulders back so they are lined over the hips, and just let the arms rest in the lap. Now, of course, if you're needing to recline back or have your body supported in another way, that is fine as well. As we begin, just notice the floor beneath your feet and the chairs or cushions as they support you. And we'll start with just a few deep breaths to bring us into the practice. So let's breathe into the heart and lungs. Pause and exhale. Again, breathing into the heart and lungs. Pause and exhale. Pausing at the end of the exhale. And last time, best time. Big breath in. Pausing. And exhaling. Good. Allow the breath to come back to natural and extend the right leg out in front of you. And we'll begin just by moving the foot forward and back, nice and slow. And just do this for 5 to 7 times. Pause and then circle the foot. Changing directions. Good, and then pause. Place that right foot next to the left foot and just notice the right ankle. Notice the right ankle versus the left ankle. And now we'll do the other side. Point and flex. Circling the foot. And changing direction. Excellent. Pausing and then placing left foot next to right foot, and just notice the ankles. Okay, now we move into the knee. So there are a couple of ways that you can do this depending on if you're on the ground or if you're reclined back. If you're seated in a chair like me, you might support the leg. We're just going to straighten and bend. Now this might be, if you are not able to support your leg, just tapping your toe out in front of you. Good, then pausing, and now we'll circle the foot. Now, of course, the knee joint does not move in circles like this, so it's difficult to not move the top of your leg, but try to keep the top of your leg as still as possible. Pause, and then change direction. Now, if at any point in this practice you're met with pain, this is not a practice to push through the pain. Just meet yourself where you're at. You can pause if certain joints are not workable for you as we move on through the practice. So we'll pause now, noticing the right knee and the left knee. And then we'll do the other side. So straighten and bend. Pause and then circle the foot. You can change directions. Good, and pause. Now noticing from the knees down, any sensation. All right, next we'll just bring some gentle movement to the hips. So you can support the leg by lifting the leg and just open the knee to the side. And then we'll open the inside of the hip. So if it's available to you, place your ankle to your knee. Keep this up, your right ankle flexed. Now you may choose to just simply press down on the leg and then up. So this is like a little butterfly movement, nice and slow. Now if that's not available to you, you could sit forward and just open the knee. Now, of course, if you're reclined, you can just step the foot up closer, next to your left knee and just open and close the knee like a cover of a book. So finding what works for you. Again, avoiding force. Good, we'll pause. And then we'll guide the knee now in circles. Changing directions. Good, and then placing that right foot next to the left and now noticing right hip versus left hip. Good, so we'll begin by opening and closing. Good, doing your version of the butterfly wing. Excellent, helping the foot come down and then just circling the knee and the leg and the hip socket. And changing direction. Good, and then pausing. Just noticing now both legs. This is an extremely subtle, gentle practice, as I'm sure you're noticing. I have included this in my Artasana framework that I teach, which is where we make images before and after practice. And I included this one in a live retreat earlier this month, and it was remarkable how the images shifted, even doing something as gentle as this. So the second image typically is colors and lines and shapes that express more calmness and ease in the body. So it is really a lovely practice, I think, and it is nice to take the pause to notice the shift in the felt experience of the joints after we move them just a little bit. So with all of that said, we'll now circle the shoulders. Good. We'll pause and then change directions. Good, and then pausing at center, we'll lift the heart and round the back. Good, pausing here, noticing any sensation in the spine or in the torso. We'll bring the arms overhead, draw them into the shoulder socket, plant the sits bones to extend taller, and we'll just sway slowly from side to side. I like to think of this as bending like a blade of grass, bending in the breeze. And just notice the sensation of the ribs expanding as you open to one side and then the other. Good, we'll now cactus the arms and then keeping the hips in one place. Sometimes it's easy for the legs, left knee forward, left elbow forward. We want to avoid that. So keep the hips and legs in one place and just bring slow movement from side to side. You'll notice I'm not cranking my head, I'm not looking over the shoulder, I'm keeping my heart and elbows in one straight line, really focusing on equal movement from the base of the spine up through the shoulders. Good. Once again, we'll pause at center. We'll release the arms or the hands to the lap. Just notice what you're experiencing in the stillness. And now we'll move to the hands. So hands straight out in front, open the fingers wide, and then make a fist. Open wide, and make a fist. Open wide, make a fist. Open wide, and make a fist, and then circle out the wrists. Changing directions. Good. Then pause at center. Bring your left hand to support your right arm, and then turn your palms up. And actually, before we do that, you can keep the palms down. You can point the fingers straight down, and then fingers straight up. And if you'd like a little more emphasis on this shape, you can apply gentle pressure with your opposite hand. Good, and now we'll just briefly do the other side. Good, releasing the hands, just noticing the wrists and the fingers now. Okay, now we'll bring the right arm out, support it with your left hand, turn the palms up, and we'll just tap the fingertips to the shoulders. So just as we did with the leg, now with the arms we straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Good, pausing with fingertips skyward, we'll now circle the hand, trying to keep this upper arm as still as possible. So we're not really working anything in the shoulder or the upper arm. We're just bringing some mobility into the elbow, changing direction now. Good, pausing at center, releasing. Noticing the right arm versus the left. And now we'll do the other side. So straighten and bend. Pausing, circling the wrist. Again, trying to keep that upper arm as still as possible. Pausing at center, changing directions. Pausing at center and releasing the arm. Noticing left arm, right arm. All right, from here we'll bring the arms out to the side like wings, and we'll just turn the palms skyward and sliding the shoulders down the back. And then palms towards the floor, scooping the shoulders forward. Just do this a few times. Good, pausing with the palms facing skyward. Now notice if you're tight in the shoulders, sometimes we start to arch the back. So if you notice a scooping or too much arching in the low back, bring those lower ribs back and tuck the low belly a little bit just to support your torso. Now we'll bring the fingertips to the shoulders and we'll bring the shoulders forward, the elbows forward and then back. Forward and back. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. We just got into the shoulder blades a bit with the last movement. Here, think about keeping the shoulders still, so shoulder blades are still, and we're just moving the arm bone in the shoulder socket as opposed to moving the whole shoulder. I will refrain from using technical body parts here so that you can focus on the movement itself. Good, pausing at center, now let's circle the elbows. Again, making effort, if effort is the right word, being mindful rather to keep the shoulders from moving and to really just be working the arms within the joint. Good. Pausing, we'll change directions. Good, and then pause, release the hands to the lap, notice the shoulders. And now we'll take a deep breath in, circle the shoulders up towards the ears and then down the back. Continuing. Pause at center, change directions. Good. Once again, pausing, sitting tall, noticing the stillness. And now let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the chin to the chest, maintaining a nice straight spine, lifting the heart. Just allow gravity to create some openness within the back of the neck. You can soften the eyes. Sometimes as we're listening to video or audio, we tend to scrunch the eyes. So try to soften the eyes. And on the next inhale, gently roll the head to one side until the ear lines up with the shoulder, and just let that shoulder move away from the ear. As you exhale, move the head across the chest to the other side, again releasing that shoulder. And now continuing. Moving from left to right. Good. Pausing at center, rolling the head upright. Just taking a moment now to bring your awareness to the feet, the bottoms of the feet, the tops of the feet, and your ankles. Notice the calves and shins, your knees, tops of your legs. Notice your sits bones, the low back and belly. Notice if you can release any tension or gripping in the legs and in the belly. Good. Now move your awareness up the spine, noticing the backside ribs, the heart center, the front side ribs. Moving back to heart center, move your awareness up the spine, up through the shoulders. Notice the tops of the arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the tops of your hands, the palms of your hands, and your fingertips. Move your awareness back up through the arms, up through the neck, noticing the back of the head, the ears, your cheeks and jawbone, and just give the jaw a little wiggle and just allow it to rest at center. Notice if there's tension in the jaw. Now notice the tip of your nose, the bridge of your nose, your eyes, eyebrows, and forehead. And notice if you can soften the eyes, eyebrows, and forehead. Now notice the crown of the head. Notice if there's any sensation in the crown of the head. From here, notice the whole right side body, the whole left side body, and the whole body. Notice the whole body. Notice the whole body. As we end today's practice, I thank you so much for being here. I hope you find this helpful. Please hit subscribe and join me in my next practice next week. The goodness in me honors the goodness in you.